You guys asked for a weekend show, and we are ready to deliver. Hey, guys, Andrew and Carmine here, co-hosts of PuckTime on WagerTalk TV. We are here to talk about 3 games for the Saturday slate, January 20th in the NHL. We have the Canucks and Maple Leafs. We have the Penguins and Golden Knights, and we also have the Rangers and the LA Kings. 3 great games to break down, Carm. They've been wanting us to do a weekend show, man. So here we are with 3 quick games to break down.
Yeah, man, it's almost like one of my favorite shows that they used to have on, I think, Sportsnet and TSN here north of the border was Poker After Dark. This is like Puck Time After Dark, Andrew, where we come on late and we put together 3 games and hopefully give away 3 winners at the same time too, or at least some actionable info.
And 3 good games as well. As we always mention on Puck Time, the schedule makers, you know how they are, Carm. One day, 2 games. The next day, they'll have 10 or 13. But Saturday is always a guaranteed to have all kinds of games. Before I jump into the first game, I want to let you guys know about the great promo code SUPER20. You can see it on the bottom of your screen there. SUPER20 takes 20% off any package available at Carmine's page or my page, whether it's a 3-day, 7-day, 30-day, 90-day package. You can take 20% off with that promo code SUPER20. So, Carm, I was going to go and get a special code for us, and I forgot we already had that great code to use. So that expires soon. So SUPER20 is a great one to use.
Yeah, I believe it's also you can also use it on 1-day all access. But if you're watching this on Friday and you're watching it before the NHL games kick off, you grab the 3-day all access, use the code to get 20% off, and you get all plays through the weekend. I've got plenty of NFL, as does Andrew, NHL, of course, and a 5% play going in NFL this weekend. So plenty of action in a couple of soccer games. I haven't done much, if any, soccer to start the year just because there's some tournaments going on in the African Nations Cup and the Asian Cup, which has taken most of the players away from the Premier League. So they're on a bit of a sabbatical themselves as well, too. But we're going to start to amp that up.
Let's jump into Leafs and Canucks. The Leafs finally broke that little mini losing streak they had, and you and I had our fun at their expense, but they certainly bounced back and looked strong, putting up 4 goals last night against the Calgary Flames, or Thursday night for those of you that are watching here on Saturday. But they're playing the Vancouver Canucks. Vancouver has dominated the Leafs, especially when playing at home. What's your take on this matchup?
Yeah, Andrew, like we made fun of them, but I did have the Leafs on Thursday night, so I'm very happy that they got the win. I thought they'd been playing well, but just coughing up these leads. One of the reasons why I took them is it was the sort of the strength of scheduling. Toronto had a run of some playing some very good teams. Calgary and had lost 4 games. Calgary had won 4 games, but not the toughest schedule at all, and pretty easy schedule at that. And that Calgary team is one of those teams where they can play well and then just completely fall off the edge of a cliff. And I thought that was one of those ones, but they almost pulled it out last night, if not for a goal that was called back. It's a different team the Leafs are facing now. Vancouver Canucks in Vancouver, where they're 15-1-4 this season. And historically, have been a thorn in the side of the Toronto Maple Leafs anytime that the Leafs make it out west to face Vancouver. 9-1 is Vancouver in their last 10 meetings at home against the Toronto Maple Leafs. And yeah, baked into that 9-1 number, of course, are some games that were played in the bubble as well too during the pandemic. But Demko playing extremely well. Jones has been playing well for the Leafs as well too. This is the first of a back-to-back for the Leafs, so it should be Jones. On Saturday night, and then Samsonov, who my friends call Samsonite because he's got so much luggage to bear, but going in Seattle. But we could see those 2 switch around. We could actually see Samsonov tomorrow and Jones on Sunday. So I would look at the goaltending matchups. -130 on Vancouver it's a low number, and I get it because it's against Toronto. You're not giving me enough on the Leafs at plus 110 to make me want to take them against a Vancouver team that is probably playing some of the best hockey, if not the best hockey in the NHL right now and all season long. And a 15-1-4 mark at home is ultra impressive, Andrew. I'm on Vancouver. I like Vancouver here. That's my lean. Vancouver minus the 130.
It's unbelievable how some teams, the home and away splits, and you've talked about it this year with player props, their home and away splits. But, I try not to look at home and road records and think about, do I want to bet on this team because they're on the road? With the example that you just mentioned there, it's important to look at. They have looked so strong at home, this Vancouver team. But I've decided to just go with the full game over 6.5. I know you mentioned check the goaltending situation. Demko, Jones. I'm shocked, Carm, honestly, by Martin Jones. Like, I am shocked at what he's been able to do. He's a goalie that in his past, he's let in a lot of weak goals, and he's actually stepped up to the plate in a big way for this Maple Leafs team. But I think that, that game the Maple Leafs played against Calgary was a really good example of a real hard-fought effort for them defensively. But even in a game like that, they still gave up goals, gave up chances. And if it wasn't for that hand pass that was called off by the video review team from Toronto, that game had potential to reach the 8 or 9 goal mark, which is still a lot. So in a game that they really wanted to put forward a good defensive effort, they weren't really able to get it. At Vancouver, the thing for them is they're coming off a performance where they didn't even look great offensively, but they were playing Arizona. So they win 2-1. So it's almost like it was an off day at the office for Vancouver, but they still come out with the W and win 2-1 there. They did lose prior to that 4-3 against the Columbus team. But I think that this is actually one of the tougher opponents Vancouver has played recently. So I think Toronto gets their goals, but it's hard to argue with this home record that Vancouver has. And let's be honest, they have had great goaltending. Thatcher Demko has been consistent, but a lot of these home games have been where their goals have come as well. I believe they're home and away as far as over-unders. The over has been a lot stronger for them at home looking at these numbers. So over 6.5 for me. And for both of our sake, hopefully Vancouver keeps it going at home.
Hey, listen, Jones has looked good, but if you watch the game against Calgary, there looked like there was a few cracks in the armor that we haven't seen from Martin Jones since taking over that number one spot for the Leafs. Obviously, with Samsonov as a backup, and we're still waiting for Joseph Wall to come back from that injury. There's no timeline on that as of yet, but he showed some cracks in the armor, and I think it's just because at this point, Martin Jones, I don't think is used to playing this many games in a row. It's been a while since he had such a heavy workload, and at some point, it starts to wear on you. And this is why I wondered whether off the two games in Alberta, whether we might see Samsonov tomorrow night, being Saturday night, and then Martin Jones in goal against the Seattle Kraken on Sunday. It bodes well to your over if it's Samsonov in goal on Saturday night. I'll say that much.
One thing I've noticed with Jones is rebound control. Like you said, he has looked good, but the rebounds, the age, how many games he's been given. It's one thing for him to be jumping into a lot of games with the Leafs, but like you mentioned, to be the number one goalie, do you think he ever thought he was going to be the number one goalie for this Maple Leafs team?
Yeah.
I do feel bad for them because Joseph Woll was playing some great hockey, Carm. He was looking good. And of course, he goes down with that injury, but he should be back soon. He's a young guy, so he'll be all right.
Yeah.
Go
I
ahead.
mushed them. I'm sorry, Joseph
Yeah.
Wall. If you're watching this show, I mushed them. Literally the same morning that I say Joseph Wall is ready to become the number one goalie for the Leafs. Give him as many games as you can. Let him run with it. And he gets injured that night. So my apologies to. I'm like that guy from. Is it Bronx Tale? The mush at the racetrack. One of those ones. Any movies, anyway. So I mushed them, and I apologize for that.
Well, I think that they found themselves a goalie, but man, you better be careful picking which goalies you start giving some high praise to. They'll be worried about getting injuries. Carm, obviously, I do the buy and sell segment. We've started that back up again. We've got the buy teams, the sell teams. The buy team's been doing good so far. The sell team on the Capitals has not been doing very good with this past week here. But the Vegas Golden Knights, for my buy team, they're off to a pretty good start to the buy. I forecasted the next week and a half, starting last Monday, knocking off the Rangers on Thursday night, but they have the Pittsburgh Penguins coming into town. I'm seeing around minus 115 for the home team with the Golden Knights. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, this is one where at least as far as the early money, and it has been a lot because people don't like to bet Saturday games on Friday, of course. But it opened up Vegas minus 115, and now it's Pittsburgh minus 115. So there's been a shift in the numbers, but it really shouldn't surprise you because we saw the same thing on Thursday night with the Rangers, and I talked about the sort of the market movers on Thursday's puck time. The Rangers were taking some money going into Vegas, and that line went from I think was like 130 to about 145 at close. But the Penguins pretty much rolled the Rangers. The Rangers were flat for the first 30 minutes, could never recover from that game. Pittsburgh, I've seen people talking about Pittsburgh's got the Vegas flu. They've been out in Vegas for a while. They haven't been out in Vegas for a while. Pittsburgh practiced at home on Wednesday in Cranberry. They were scheduled to fly out on Thursday to make the trip for this Saturday game. Coach Sullivan flew back to Boston because he's having a grandkid. So they wanted him there for the birth. He's meeting the team in Vegas. The one guy who wasn't at practice today in their first practice in Vegas, Erik Karlsson. He wasn't on the power play unit in practice. He wasn't on any of the three lines. Sullivan said that he's feeling ill, so that's something you might want to consider. That Erik Karlsson, could be missing if he's still. Maybe he's got the Vegas flu, Andrew. Who knows? That's highly possible.
It's
but
the
we should
dry
see
air.
Jari.
It's that
The
desert
dry,
air,
yeah, the
man.
dry air. Yeah, it's the dry air. Yeah, sure. Or blackjack in the VIP room, or the Hakkasan nightclub, whatever. He's somewhere, but we'll see if he's in the lineup on Saturday. The Pens are playing extremely well, but the Vegas has adapted that next man up mentality, and they even lose another player, I think, on Thursday night as well too, to go along with obviously Shea Theodore out, Jack Eichel out as well too, and of course we know about the goalies, Aiden Hill, Patera are both still out, so it's going to be Logan Thompson in goal. It's such a low line. You're getting like minus 105 on Vegas at home after they pretty much dominated the New York Rangers. It's kind of hard to pass that up.
It really is. And they're playing well. And as you and I always talk about, it's a streaky sport. It's a streaky league. When teams are cold, they're cold. When they're hot, they're hot. They're playing much better. Karma, I'm just going to stick with the totals. I'm going to go under 6 here with this one. Might surprise some people, but since December 1st, these are the 4 best teams in expected goals allowed or against. Florida Panthers, Edmonton Oilers, Pittsburgh Penguins, Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas's problem when they were on their losing streak was not really their defense. They just couldn't score. Like, they just could not score whatsoever. And for Pittsburgh, in October and November, their defense was horrible. And now they really got it going again. I like the under 6. Vegas, to me, they have, been lighting the lamp a little bit. Mark Stone had a couple big games in a row, but overall, I like what I'm seeing from them defensively. You talk about the goaltending, Carm, that does worry me a little bit, but overall, when I see how their defense is playing, for them to be up there in the same categories defensively as like a Winnipeg Jets and a Florida Panthers, to me, that's impressive. So running some reports on Natural Stat Trick, a website that you've referenced a few times on PuckTime, I think this game actually has underwritten all over. I think there's some rest for both these clubs here. More so with this Penguins team, and I feel like we could see a real good defensive battle. And I know that there's a lot of talent out there on the ice. A lot of great forwards and, defensemen on both teams that can jump into the rush. But sometimes when you have two great teams that go head to head, it's kind of like a stalemate. There's a lot of neutral zone time. And if that's the case, I'm hoping for an under. So two totals from me so far here on the show, Carm. I'll have a side on the last game, but over in the first one,
now.
under in the second one. Yeah, that's what I got. Don't
Now,
worry, I'll pick a side.
In case you guys see me drinking here, that is not a green bottle of Heineken. It's San Pellegrino water. I just want to go on record. I'm not drinking beer. What else would an Italian be drinking at 5:26 p.m. Before I have some wine with dinner? San Pellegrino sparkling water, Andrew. Maybe we'll make them the show sponsors.
Wouldn't
But
be bad.
speaking of sparkling, the New York Rangers were anything but sparkling in Vegas on Thursday, Andrew.
They looked awful. It just was not good, and I was concerned about, are they going to just break out? Are they going to end up getting better? Did you have any action on that game, or did you stay off it? Like, so you're siding with the home team, right? You're taking Vegas. Is that's your pick?
In the last game, yeah, I'm taking Vegas in the Vegas Pittsburgh game. I think the price is right, and even if the money shifts back to Vegas even at -115, I just think the price is right on Vegas. Uh, they've adapted that next man up mentality. They're grinding games out. It's the second and third line guys that are scoring, and it could have been a lot worse. Mark Stone looked like an Italian soccer player taking a penalty kick. He put one over the open net and over the glass, standing in front. And all he did was he just looked straight up like, what did I just miss right now? And it was off a double save, a double pad save by Shesterkin. And then the puck was right there, empty net. And man, he just booted that over the. If you had the total on that one, that would have been tough. If you had the over
Yeah,
6,
he makes some good saves,
losing goals
man.
like that.
But as you
Yeah,
mentioned, this is our star-studded matchup, a big game. 3 games we're covering are all pretty good games here. Rangers and the LA Kings, the team that continues to drive the both of us absolutely crazy. This LA Kings team, they're the favorite. They're at home. It's around -115. Totals at 6, slightly pointed towards the under. Carm, I'm going with the road team. I can't trust this Kings team right now. And until I can see it for multiple games in a row, I cannot trust. I like this small dog position here on the Rangers. Like I just mentioned, when we went through those numbers for the Vegas Golden Knights since December 1st, being a top 5 team in expected goals against, they're playing well defensively. The Vegas Golden Knights. Rangers were shut down. I understand that. But this LA Kings team, they really haven't been the same LA Kings team of the season, of years past defensively. I always talk about how every forward back checks, they work so hard. Teams are scoring on them right now. And I think this Rangers team is a really good bounce back team after a very flat outing. They did not look strong at all against the Vegas Golden Knights. Obviously, not much of a road trip here for the Rangers heading out to Los Angeles. And there's been a lot of traveling recently for this LA Kings team. So despite them being at home, I still think that, they still have that I don't want to say jet lag because they didn't just arrive, but I think it's, equal spot here. I'm completely fine with the travel for the New York Rangers. I'm taking the dog here. Are you with me or against me?
it's really not much of a dog. I get it. They're a dog in the
Right.
game compared
Right.
to the Kings. But yeah, I get what you're saying. It's even money on the Rangers, and because of the fact that and I watched that game because of the fact that it was such an outlier of a game. They played so bad for the first 30, even 35 minutes of that game. Um, I just can't see them putting together 2 bad performances in a row. Now, this is the first of a back-to-back. They'll play Anaheim on Sunday, and I get it. If it's going to be, it should be Shesterkin in goal. I get it. You might have the people out there that say, "Wouldn't it be great to put Jonathan Quick in goal?" in LA against his former team, so the fans can give it to him. Listen, the teams behind the New York Rangers are starting to win games. The Rangers need points. It's all about winning games and aligning your goalies to win those games. The best thing to do is you start Shesterkin in goal in this one against the Kings, and then you use Quick against Anaheim, because Quick is good enough to beat Anaheim. You don't need Shesterkin, and Quick's having a good season. So I get the whole everyone wants to see Quick in LA tomorrow night. I think it would be a mistake, to be honest with you. I think it should be Shesterkin. And it's tough to make a case for a team like the Kings, who right now are 1-10 their last 11 games. And who do they beat, Andrew? We talked about it. They went in and beat the Carolina Hurricanes in Carolina, and then they drop a game right after that. They're 1-10. There's something has to change. You can play well like they have been and lose games, but ultimately at the end of the day, you're losing games, and something has to change. So if they're not living up to um, uh, their XG numbers, what they're generating, what they're actually scoring, at some point when you see them start to score, that's when you got to jump on them, because you figure they have turned the corner and they're going to start to score some goals and they're going to start to win some games because they're playing well defensively. But I wouldn't blame you if you wanted the under 6.5 in this game, guys. But it's the Rangers for me at even money.
I'm happy we're on the same page, Carm. You've been having a really good run in the NHL. I'm picking things up as well. And my rule is you need to see something happen twice in a row. You need to see it happen in 2 games in a row. You need to see the LA Kings win back-to-back games. You know, we were shocked to see what they did against the Hurricanes, but then the next game they lose again, right? It's kind of like with a prop bet. If it's a 4-1 run, you got to keep betting it. It loses once, doesn't mean you go away from it. You keep attacking it until it loses twice in a row. In this case, I'm staying away from the Kings until they win 2 in a row. They're going to be a hungry team at the trade deadline, that's for sure. The trade deadline's usually underwhelming in the NHL compared to most sports, but I am excited to see what happens this year. That will happen sooner than later, this trade deadline, and we'll see which teams start to stack up and get really hungry at that deadline to make some big moves. So, Carm, this will be released on Saturday. I'm curious, what do you have going for the rest of the weekend? I know you have a 5% NFL pick. I'm sure you have some NHL plays. Anything to mention? Of course, that Super 20 great deal as well.
Yeah, if you missed Friday's show, I did the 6 and 60. It turned into a 5 and 60 or a 6 and 85 seconds. I completely left off one game. I re-recorded it, and I'm going to post it on Twitter. So go to my page at Carmine Bianco WT, or if you're on Instagram, it'll be posted later on this evening. And on Instagram, it's Carmine Bianco WT as well too. So you'll find me there as well too. I usually post any of the PuckTime free plays that we give out. I'm going to have a bigger than normal card of NHL tomorrow because I do like the Saturday slate. And of course, we've got football 5% play going, and then Sunday, 4 plays. It's a play and 3 prop bets as well too. So a busy day, and then mix in a couple soccer games as well.
Awesome. Hope you have a great weekend, Carm, and let's cash some tickets, man. Let's keep it
You as
going
well.
in the NHL. We're both pumped up. That promo code, guys, Super 20. I've got NFL props, UFC. We've got, of course, NHL action. I'm not going to let you know about one play in itself. Join me for the weekend. Use that promo code for a 3-day pass, Super 20. Same thing for Carmine. Don't buy the 5. Get the 3-day pass. If you don't mind me saying that, Carm.
Yeah.
But use that great promo code there. It's a good one.
No,
It's a good one.
I think I always say, listen, the 3-day pass is the best. You can use that save 20 to knock off thing. I think the 3-day pass is like $69. So you're knocking off $14. You're dropping it down to, what is that, 55. If you buy a 5% play, one play is $35. You might as well get 10 to 12 plays for 55 and judge a person over 3 days as opposed to one play. So I always think that's the best way to do it.
Guys, if you enjoyed this Saturday edition of Puck Time, please run up the likes, leave us a like on this one, comment below who you're betting on this very busy NHL slate. Subscribe to our channel and check us out over at WagerTalk.com for all of our favorite plays. Best of luck, guys. Have a good weekend. We'll see you on Monday.